Bill Burr versus Ben Shapiro, the saddest beef ever. So apparently, Bill Burr is woke now, at least according to the internet's angriest thumb, Ben Shapiro. That's right, America's favorite fast-talking debate club captain has spent the last year spiraling into a one-sided beef with a comedian who barely even knows he exists. And somehow, this might be the biggest highlight of Ben's career. Here's the crazy part. Ben Shapiro used to be Bill Burr's #1 fan. Back in 2019, Ben was tweeting about Burr's specials, calling them shocking and audacious. In 2021, he even made an entire YouTube video defending Burr's Grammy jokes, shouting at the woke mob for daring to be upset that Bill couldn't pronounce Latino names. So for years, little Ben basically treated Burr like his comedy messiah, until one day, Bill made the fatal mistake of not agreeing with him on everything. In February, Bill Burr voiced support for Luigi Mangione, called out billionaire CEOs for being sociopaths, and suddenly, Ben's little heart shattered. Because in Ben's mind, that meant his comedy hero had betrayed the anti-woke mafia. So what did Ben do? He recorded a full hour-long podcast ranting about how Burr isn't funny anymore, that he's disconnected from his audience, and that, of course, it's all his wife's fault. Because nothing screams comedy analysis like blaming the comedian's marriage. Ben even claimed he went to see Burr live at the Hard Rock Casino in Florida, and according to him, it was one of the worst shows he's ever seen. Why? Because Burr made jokes about Floridians being anti-gay racists, and apparently the Floridians in attendance didn't like being called anti-gay racists. So Burr cut the show short, and Ben, he left convinced that his former comedy idol was now a woke hack. So here's where the delicious irony kicks in. Shapiro whined endlessly that Bill was disconnected from his audience. Yet when Ben uploaded that rant to YouTube, his own audience ratioed the video into oblivion. The comment section was brutal. People called him pathetic, desperate, and pointed out that Ben would literally get on all fours and bark like a dog if a billionaire CEO told him to. So yeah, maybe not the mic drop moment Ben was hoping for. For months, Burr ignored it, until finally, when asked about Shapiro directly, he dropped the perfect response. I don't know who he is, but that guy's a jerk-off. That's it. That's the roast. And honestly, that single sentence hit harder than anything Ben has ever written in his life. Of course, Shapiro couldn't let it end there. He ran straight to his studio the next morning and delivered what he thought was a savage clapback. But if you watch the video, it's painfully obvious he's reading off a teleprompter for the first time. And worse, the whole thing sounds like it was written by ChatGPT in 2021. He called Burr a bald Rumpelstiltskin, a shriveled nutsack of a human, and a piss-drunk woke leprechaun. Which, okay, points for effort, but let's be real, if your comeback sounds like an AI roast generator, maybe you're not the comedy critic you think you are. And here's the thing, Bill was right. Shapiro doesn't actually care about comedy, or Burr, or what woke even means. He just saw an opportunity to farm outrage, sell some ExpressVPN ads, and rile up his fan base for clicks. Meanwhile, Burr's been living his life, doing stand-up, starring in movies, and most importantly, not wasting oxygen feuding with a political YouTuber. So in the end, what started as fanboy worship turned into one of the saddest beefs in comedy history. Bill Burr walked away with a one-liner. Ben Shapiro walked away with the highlight of his career, and a comment section that clowned him harder than Bill ever did. And that, my friends, is the story of how Ben Shapiro learned the hard way. Never meet your heroes.